Okay, how do you handle multiple beans at the same time in Spring Boot?
Yeah, so this can be done using two ways. So one is using at the rate of qualifier and second one is using at the rate of primary annotation. So using at the rate of qualifier basically lets us specify which bin we want to inject. So suppose we have multiple beans which is qualified to be injected. So at the rate of qualifier and inside that we can give the name of that qualifier. So based on that it is decided that which bean has to be injected. And second one is using at the rate of primary. So if we have the multiple beans of the same time, so like primary one is the default one. So whenever this situation happens, then the default wherever this primary annotation is marked, so that will be injected.
Okay, okay. Is there any other way is also there?
Other way, I'm not sure.
Okay, using custom annotation. Okay, first of all, do you know how do we create the custom annotation in Spring Boot?
Yeah. So basically, the way we create the interface and classes, similarly we have the option of creating the annotation. And basically when we create the annotation, then at the rate of interface, so that is generated. And so we can define the constraints and the corresponding class we can mention there. And in that class we can write our logic for the validation. So this is how we write the custom annotation.
Okay, can you explain me this with an example?
Example. So let's say we have to validate let's say we have one employee class. So in that we have multiple fields like employee name, employee age, employee salary, and similarly we have one more field, let's say employee type. And we want to validate that field as well. So we know that only this can take either the permanent or contractual role. So it can have, let's say, only these two values. So um, so we can define this custom annotation. Let's say uh, at the rate of employee type, we want to generate the annotation. So there, once we create this annotation, then on top of that, we can mention the constant. So in constant, we can give the class, so which will have the logic, and then we can give the at the rate of retention. So there we can give like it should be running at the runtime or something. So we can give that. Then we can also tell that this notation will be applicable to, let's say, parameter. So that also we can give. Then in the employee entity class, on top of the employee type parameter, we can mention this annotation. So it will ultimately validate the employee type, whatever will be coming.
Okay, okay, good. Okay, so what is caching in Spring Boot?
Okay, so suppose a scenario, for example, we have the database, and from there the specific query has to be hit. I mean, often we have to hit the same query. So instead of hitting it multiple times, so what we do is that we implement the caching mechanism. So this caching basically saves clients money, because the this similar kind of hit to the database is kind of an expensive operation, right? Instead of doing that every time, so what we do that, using this caching, so we get the data from there without hitting the database. So basically it makes our application much faster also. So we have the various caching providers like ESCache, Redis, Hazelcast. So as per the requirement, we implement that, and we have some annotations in order to support that. So we have like at the rate of cacheable, at the rate of cache put, at the rate of cache evict. So at the rate of cacheable marks a method whose result will be stored in the cache, and this cache evict, suppose we don't need the cache anymore, so we use this at the rate of cache evict. So it is basically designed to save time and resources by remembering the result of expensive operations, and it also gives us the result very quickly from its memory instead of doing the whole operation again and again. So yeah.
Okay, how inter-service communication happens between microservices, and what are the various ways?
The inter-service communication between the microservices we can categorize between two parts. So one is the synchronous and another one is the asynchronous. So in synchronous, we have REST APIs using HTTP. So in case of direct communication, we use the REST template. Then we have the Fin client. So in Fin client, basically for more complex interactions, especially when we are dealing with the like kind of multiple services, then we use it. Then we have web client. Web client has been introduced in reactive programming. So uh, so this is non-blocking. So this is the better choice when we are handling high concurrency applications. So like suppose the uh, we need the share market data, right? So the continuous stream is required. So in those kind of cases, we use this web client. And then coming to the second part of asynchronous communication. So asynchronous communication, again we can divide it into two parts. One is the message brokers. So if we have RabbitMQ, Kafka. So in asynchronous, basically calling method does not wait for the response, and it just moves after producing the data, and that data later on consumed by the whatever the clients which are subscribed to it. That is one thing. And then asynchronous communication can also be done using the messages or events. So yeah, this is how the communication happens between the microservices in Spring Boot.
Okay, so in Spring Boot, how can we customize a specific auto configuration?
Yeah, so this customization we can do it either in the application.properties file or YAML file, or we can also customize it in the configuration. So in the class configuration class, and so for example, let's say we have to customize the default data source, so we can give that in the YAML or properties file. Then in the bean also the same thing we can also achieve in the configuration class. So whatever the bean we have, so there we can give the data source name, so that customization can be done. And then like in the pom.xml also, in case of Maven, suppose if we don't want to use Tomcat and we want to use some other server, so we can exclude this, and we can include the whatever the desired server we want. So yeah, so these are the various ways we can customize.
Okay, so what are the different scopes available in Spring Boot?
Scopes. Okay. um, I think singleton, prototype, request, then session, up, then one more is there, I think WebSocket. Yeah. So singleton basically, so this is the default scope. So only one instance of the bean is created for the entire Spring container, and the same instance is shared across the application. And in prototype, a new instance of the bin is created every time, so it is being requested. And then in request, uh, so in request, whatever the bin is created, so it is available only during the request life cycle. And session is remains active like throughout the session till the till it expires. And then the last one is the WebSocket. So this is for the WebSocket session.
Okay, can we implement the custom scope? Do you know how we can create the custom scope?
Custom scope. Uh, Sorry, I have no idea of it.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, what is the difference between at the rate of Spring Boot application and at the rate of enable auto configuration?
At the rate of Spring Boot application and enable auto configuration, right?
Yes.
Uh, so basically, at the rate of enable auto configuration is the underlying annotation of at the rate of Spring Boot application. So this at the rate of Spring Boot application covers altogether three other different annotations as well. So one is at the rate of configuration, and another one is this at the rate of enable auto configuration, and third one is at the rate of component scan. So yeah, so enable auto configuration basically that is responsible for automatically configuring Spring Beans based on the class path dependencies. So in the class path, whatever the beans are there, so to load them to the container, we use this.
Okay, what is the difference between service registry and service discovery and how they work with each other?
Service registry and service discovery.
Yeah.
Yeah, in microservices, the service registry is a database that holds the location of all microservices instances. So it basically allows services to dynamically register and discover each other without hard coding their locations. So basically, whenever any microservice instance starts, so it registers itself to service registry uh, by providing its IP address, so that is registered over there. But that is not known to suppose any other microservices calls tries to call that. So the service registry maintains the data and other services query to uh, discover available instances. And suppose if a, service instance crashes or shut down, so it is automatically removed from the service registry. So yeah,
Okay, what is Saga design pattern in microservices?
a saga is a sequence of, we can say, local transactions in multiple services. So like each transaction updates the state within its service, and if one of the step fails, a a compensating transaction is executed to undo the previous step. So saga can be of two types. One is the choreography and other is orchestration. So this orchestration is basically centrally managed. So yeah,
Okay, what is idempotency in microservices? Have you heard of this term, idempotency?
yeah, I have heard of it, but from microservices point of view, I'm not sure. But idempotency basically means that whenever we perform any operations like let's say get, put, or delete, then I mean while running these multiple times, it does not affect of anything, means it is safe to do that. So multiple times we do get or put or delete, so it won't be creating any problem. But suppose if the post request is there, and by chance we are doing that post request multiple times, in that case uh, that may create multiple entries to the database. So yeah, so this is the difference between that. So this get, put and delete operations are idempotent. So yeah,
Okay, what is the superclass of all Java classes?
a super class, that is object class.
Okay, so in which package we can find it?
Yeah, java.lang.
Okay, can you tell me the methods inside it?
Yeah, there are various methods like equals, hash code, then clone method, then notify all, wait, toString. Yeah, so these are the methods I can recall right now.
Okay, so what are the OOPS concepts you are aware of?
Yeah, so I am aware of encapsulation, then inheritance, polymorphism, abstraction. Yeah.
Okay, okay, suppose you have the class called employee, okay, or any class, let's ABC, okay. So can you prove that this follows the OOPS principle? Means it follows encapsulation, inheritance, polymorphism, or can you prove that it follows inheritance and polymorphism? How can you prove this?
Yeah, inheritance means suppose we have a employee class, and then let's say we have another class called manager. So manager extends
Okay, okay.
employee.
No, no. What I'm saying that we don't have like manager class here. So we have employee class only. Okay. So behind the scenes, anything is going on, and you can prove that okay, this employee is following the inheritance.
Okay, we have only employee, then yeah, so basically I think the object class is always there, so irrespective of we write it or not. So all the classes implements object class, because object is the implementation class. So yeah, so that is how we can say that it is following inheritance.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Yes, yes. Okay, okay. And how about proving polymorphism?
So yeah, polymorphism means basically method overloading and overriding. So like we have the object class here. So we have equals and hash code, right? So that we can override, and accordingly, according to our requirement, we can change that. So yeah, that is how we can prove that this follows a polymorphism.
Yes. Okay, okay. Okay, so in which scenario you use array list and in which scenario you use linked list?
Yeah, scenario in the sense, so array list we use when our um, main motive is to frequently accessing the data. So in that case, we use array list, and whenever we want to modify the existing list, we want frequent insertions or deletions from the list. So maybe in the middle or at any other places. So in that case, we use linked list, because in linked list the underlying data structure is doubly linked list, so it does not have to shift all the elements whenever we are doing any insertion or deletion. It simply removes its link, and we can easily insert our element. Array list basically uses dynamic array. So yeah.
Okay, what is the difference between hash map and concurrent hash map?
Hash map and concurrent hash map. Yeah, so hash map is not thread safe, and concurrent hash map is thread safe. And uh, so concurrent hash map does not allow null keys or values, but hash map allows null keys and null values. Hash map, since it is not thread safe, so its performance is faster than concurrent hash map. Yeah, so these are the differences it has.
Okay, suppose you have a scenario like you have to remove the duplicates from the list and you also want to preserve its order. So, how would you do that?
So we want to remove duplicates and maintain its order, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so for that, what we can do, that whatever the items are there, we can add that to the linked hash set. So initially, we will have the array list of items, and from that list, what we can do that we can add that array list to set. So this set will have the unique elements, and after that, further that set we can pass to the array list, and we can iterate that. So we can get the unique items, and duplicates will be removed.
Okay, do you know about vector?
Vector.
Yes.
Yeah, vector was introduced in very first, I think, in Java version 2, I think, 1.2 or something. So it was the part of initial release. So before it came before array list, and this is also synchronized, and it is thread safe, but it is very less efficient, and it has very less number of methods, and it allows null values and one null key. So yeah.
Okay, what is volatile keyword in Java?
Yeah, the volatile keyword is used to indicate that a variable value will be modified by different threads. So this is basically used in multi-threading environment. So it ensures the visibility of changes to variables like across the threads. So basically this has one problem, that it does not guarantee for atomicity of read and write operation, but it, it always shows the most recent value. So most recent value is always visible. So for to maintain the atomicity, we use atomic uh, keyword basically.
What is transient keyword in Java?
The transient keyword is used to indicate that a field should not be serialized. Suppose any entity class is there, like employee is there, and it has username, password, and a name, salary, right? So let's say any of the field we don't want to be serialized, so we use transient keyword with that. So yeah, that is the purpose of transient keyword.
Okay, what is the difference between a string builder and a string buffer?
String builder is mutable, and string buffer is also mutable, but it is synchronized, and string builder is not synchronized, so it is not thread safe, but string buffer is thread safe. So yeah.
Okay, what is the difference between double equal to and dot equals?
So double equal to compares the uh, two objects and check if they point to the same memory location. But dot equals basically only compares the values.
Okay, what are indexes and how do you create an index in SQL?
Indexes are like database objects, so it helps in retrieving records very quickly and more efficiently. So suppose we have huge data and we want to fetch the records like quickly, so we apply indexing on the columns. So column indexes can be created on both tables and views. So by declaring a column as an index within a table or view, we can access those records quickly by executing the index. So we can use the query create index, and then we can give the name of the index, and then we can say I think on, and then the table name, and under that we can give the column name on which we want to apply the indexing.
Okay, so how this indexing works internally? Can you explain?
Yeah, so these works internally like as soon as we run that query, so it generates, so we can see in the table uh, in whichever ID we have opened, so whichever tool we have opened, so we can see there is one index something like below the table has been generated, and underlying to that there are some data structures like B tree, hash table, and all. So those are using that internally. That whole row, whole tables are, whole tables are not scanned, and only like whenever user gives any query, so it instead of going through each and every row, it based on the algorithm or data structure what underlying the structure has been used. Based on that, it only scans for the few of the rows,